It's fitting that I picked a UK native for this match because we got news on UK-based wrestlers that have been missing from programming for the last couple of months. Those include Callus, which is Mark and Joe Coffey and Wolfgang, Doudrop, Ilya Dragunov, Tyler Bate, and I do believe that's actually it. Blair Davenport have all been absent recently from NXT tapings, and the reason, according to Dave Meltzer, is, well, an easy reason. Visa issues. All of those talent have been in the past featured in a prominent position or in some way on NXT UK, and even though NXT UK is not a thing anymore, they, well, basically are on visas. They're on work visas. As they don't work in the United States, or don't live in the United States, they live elsewhere. And yes, that does prevent them from being consistently featured in, or consistently featured on NXT programming. But the fact of the matter is, once the visa issues are situated, they will all return to programming. I think there are plenty of people that hope that when Doudrop returns to programming, she is not Doudrop anymore, she is Piper Niven. And that, well, that we see Wolfgang and Callus, Wolfgang, Joe Coffey, and Mark Coffey return to programming, because I honestly have not seen anybody receive that type of welcome like Callus did. People seemed genuinely happy to see Callus. Everybody was loving Ilya Dragunov. Tyler Bate is a skilled performer and somebody that I enjoy, and I'm not just saying that because of how much time I spent with Tyler Bate doing matches with him and Finn Balor in this game. But I think once everything on that front is situated, then we will likely see those talents return to NXT programming in the not too distant future. Speaking of people that may be either taking a break or returning to programming soon, it seemed like Austin Theory, there was character development for both Austin Theory and Alexa Bliss during Raw, the first Raw of 2023, with Alexa Bliss specifically making more moves to the Bray Wyatt camp as the Firefly logo popped up on the screen, and then Bliss was put in that same trance that we saw during the interview segment with Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair, and then two people wearing Uncle Howdy masks appeared in the crowd and confronted Alexa Bliss, who then attacked Bianca on the floor, sending Bianca face first into the steel stairs, and blood actually started flowing freely, which, if you tell me that you expected to see blood in WWE programming, then you haven't been watching WWE programming, because it is a rare sight, if ever, but it fit the situation, so that explains why they did it, but at the same time, it shows what they were trying to accomplish, and they did that. So I suggest using Google or YouTube, if they do actually have it up, use it as your friend, because it's worth the try to see if you can see it, because it seems like footage worth finding. But as far as Austin Theory is concerned, he was attacking the knee of Seth Rollins during the match that the two had on Raw for the United States Championship, and it seemed to me that Seth Rollins may have tweaked his knee. And if Seth is not injured and it was just him selling the injury, then he deserves an Oscar because he made you believe it. Collapsing on his way down, or his way back up the ramp, putting over the strain, the intensity and the damage he took during the match, and how damaged his knee is. So you may see Seth Rollins on the shelf for a couple of weeks, just to take a break, just to take a few weeks off, and heal from the injury, quote unquote, but also to put over Austin Theory as a dangerous man. Again, if you want to look it up, Google is your friend, and it's probably worth a second look. Because it does seem like something that'll make you feel for Seth Rollins. Hell, I feel for Seth Rollins whether it's fake, whether it's an actual injury or not. Just because of how good he did, making you getting you invested and catching your attention. So WWE is definitely building intrigue and interest in what's going on Raw, with the slow burn for the Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt inclusion, and also rebuilding Austin Theory in the image that fits what Triple H wants Austin Theory wants for Austin Theory character, Austin Theory's character, because it's clear that Triple H wanted Austin Theory to be more than just a slimeball heel who is given advantages because of who he knows. Also, I just want to put out there, for anybody who's not aware, the biggest card of any event, and this might catch some criticism, but find me an AEW show that is on the level of Wrestle Kingdom, and I will either agree or disagree, but either way, Wrestle Kingdom 17 takes place tomorrow, with the headline being, as a lot of people probably would say, it's a double headline, with Kenny Omega challenging the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay in their first meeting with both of them on the top of the card, because the last time they met, Kenny Omega was decidedly the main eventer, and Will Ospreay was decidedly on the upswing. Now, Ospreay's the main eventer, as is Omega, and Omega is making his triumphant return to his old stomping ground in New Japan. And also, Jay White will defend his IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Kazuchika Okada in what will be a hell of a main event for the biggest event of New Japan's calendar year, and a match that both men involved have said that they will be offering tributes to former IWGP founder and New Japan founder Antonio Inoki. Also, there will be the final match of Keiji Muto in New Japan, featured on that night. For Wrestle Kingdom 17, Sasha Banks has been rumored for months that she will be making her New Japan debut, likely during the match or following the match following the title defense of Kairi for the IWGP Women's Championship, which just having Sasha Banks in that division brings a lot of credibility to the new fledgling IWGP Women's Division. The last bit of news I would like to talk about, and the reason why I saved this till the end, is because it involves CM Punk. And the fact that Dax Harwood, who took over the Gentleman Villain podcast, spoke about Punk and Punk's time at AEW, and did not bash Punk, and did not speak poorly about Punk, much like everyone else has, seemingly, who is in any position of power or significance, or in any position at all in AEW. Everybody seemingly has spoken poorly about CM Punk and his run at AEW, but Dax Harwood spoke nothing but positively about his friend CM Punk and his run in AEW, showing a different side to the Punk run than we've seen since Punk's pretty much departure at All Out, following the Brawl Out and following the fallout from the Brawl Out at All Out. And that brings the only question of, is this going to give FTR some heat because of Dak's opinion and Dax sharing his legitimate opinion about the CM Punk situation and his views on CM Punk, as well as his hope that at some point Punk and the Bucks could make up, which will never happen in my opinion. But I think that, in all honesty, Dax Harwood is being professional and is the only one being professional about the situation. Not to say Punk isn't, but how AEW handled it. If they really wanted Punk to disappear, why is Punk still under contract? That's all I have to ask. If Punk is done with AEW and isn't ever going to return, and Tony Khan does not want him back and does not want to try and work things out, why is he still under contract outside of AEW subtly benefiting from Punk's merchandise sales? Either way, I agree with Dax Harwood. I do hope that I would love to see Punk back at AEW and would love to see Punk and the Bucks, as well as Kenny, reconcile and try and work out their differences to allow Punk to wrap up his wrestling career on his terms. But either way, I don't think that's going to happen, and if they do catch any heat, their contracts are up in the spring, so I think it is looking more and more likely that FTR will not be sticking around in AEW and will be running the indies, running the gauntlet on the indies, and spending some time on the indies in 2023, which will bring a little bit of interest up to the indies with a team like FTR going around versing the best of the very best. But these have been my thoughts on wrestling. Let me know your thoughts on anything and everything that I talked about in this video, and anything else that you want to ask down in the comment section below, because it's time for me to say goodbye until next time.